Hi and welcome everyone. I am your host, Professor Tuck. This is Hobo Radio, and we are doing a survival broadcast. Today is Privacy Tuesday, per usual. Every Tuesday we talk about privacy matters, whether it be what is privacy, how is your privacy being affected, and even things along the lines of what the government is doing as far as legislation and court cases that are going on that will directly impact your right to have privacy, especially in this digital age. So this is something we're going to sit back and chit chat with and stuff like that. But I also kind of we're doing a free form this week. This is my first week, as you guys see. I'm wearing my work shirts still. I asked them earlier today if they minded if I was still wearing it during my broadcast. They said as long as you don't do anything bad, we're good. It's like okay, well you define bad, and I'll tell you if we're good. It just depends. I don't think Planet Sub is going to have an issue with me, I'm probably going to end up talking to them about maybe even doing some business later on, possibly, maybe, hopefully, but not likely. Um, there it's a sub shop here in the town that I'm in and stuff like that. But I want to sit back. We want to have a conversation about privacy. So how to remain private in your life, even in the digital age. So I'm gonna share something with you guys. This is a little personal, so I'm gonna ask that you guys be kind and forget this after I talk about it. Okay, but I want to kind of share, like, because I've been really practicing remaining private. I think that those of us that are older, that are probably over the age of 35, remember what it was like to be able to walk down a street and not have to worry about cameras, facial recognitions, device tracking, listening devices. I mean, we are being spied on in such a way that it is unreal. And the thing is because we've gotten so trusting because we grew up in an era when that really wasn't a big thing. Now that it's happening, we don't understand it as much as we think we do, and we kind of need to get a deeper understanding of what's going on. So we are being surveyed. The camera here on my laptop, when I turn it on, it is most likely logging the data or information and streaming it in some form or fashion, some way, to be cataloged for later use. Everything from my cell phone, which, if you guys know, with the iPhones, they have the infrared, that because they did some videos on it where it just keeps showing doing putting it out, the face scanner thing, and it does it like every 3 seconds or something along those lines. It's kind of it's a little crazy, but it is what it is. We are getting tracked on so many levels that we don't even understand it, whether it be our social media, whether it be our conversations that we're having, and stuff like that. So what I did, I'm gonna come out with it because I really didn't think I was gonna be dating again, but it has happened. Part of the reason why I came here not only was to help out a subscriber and a friend, but there might have been something else more that was there. And I've been here for a couple of weeks, and we've kind of decided to go to the next level. Okay, the reason why I'm talking about this is because nobody is really known. Um, what's up, Captain Apana? What's up, All American Prepper? Um, American Prepper sent me. Okay, but anyways, uh, 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 with this being said, I'm talking about this because I have been quiet. You've got to realize that in order to have privacy, you've got to be able to be in places and areas and where it's much harder, less likely to be part of the overall surveillance state. That means that when you want to do things, you do them undercover, you do them in areas where there's very little listening devices, like in this place here. Other than our cell phones and our laptops, there's no real listening devices here, and then we put our devices sometimes on the other side of the house, and that way we can walk and talk, and we know that we're not being eavesdropped on, even if they wanted to. Because I mean, the only reason where this would become an issue is if you were to be labeled as a dissident, which means they may say, okay, well, you're a prepper, so we think that you might be you might be an issue to the state. You might be a dissident. They haven't clearly defined dissident. They've just said we're going after dissidents and undocumenteds that are crossing the border. Well, what is it? What exactly does that mean? So my property in Concho, Arizona, is right before I left, about a month or two, there was a U-2 spy plane that was going over it and was actually taking a look at everything that was going on. So they can keep taking pictures to see like how things change. It's long tail surveillance. They're not just coming down unless they see something immediately, but for the most part, they're mapping this whole country, and now they've got spy planes that are just keeping an eye on almost every single square inch of this country, especially around the borders, which we're not just talking north and south, we're talking about coastal borders as well, which is where a majority of the population actually hangs out. And so you don't even know that this is happening. Outside of the big cities, if you're in a rural area, this is something that you are more likely to see. One of my neighbors, who I call the mayor, he was actually the one that was telling me about it because he keeps an eye on websites that let him know certain things that are going on. I forget what the name of the website is. I'll have to ask him one day. But this is something, when it comes to knowing what's going on around you and how you're being surveilled is important. As far as when I do things, I don't go out there and I don't um, I don't. Uh, I don't advertise everything that I do. Me being an open person, one of these things that I've had to really work hard on over the last couple of years is that I got to realize I can't just be 100% open like I used to, because there may be people that I don't want to know to meet me. For example, when the guy that I met in Chattanooga was waiting for me to show up in his area to begin with, and it was he already knew I was coming in his direction, and he was trying to hope to intercept me, and we just happened to get intercepted. He already knew who I was before I even showed up, because one, I'm on social media. Now I'm a more of a vocal voice on social media, which is a little bit different than the average person. But as being a vocal voice, there are people that are waiting for me to come through their area, and some of these people aren't necessarily very friendly to me. They may even pretend to be friendly to me, but they're not always friendly to me. I've ran across a couple of them that are like that, where I thought that they would be friendly and they have not. When I have met them, it happens. You think you know a person until you meet a person, and then you realize how much you don't know that person. Um, and you guys have heard me talk a little bit of stories about this. As social media gets more and more, as the surveillance gets more and more, as you're traveling, as you're doing things in your daily life, you may just depending upon the groups that you join, the people that you talk to, the things that you talk about. If you're going to talk or do or say anything that is going to directly affect how you are, your ability to just live your life. So, for example, you decide you want to get in a prepper group. Okay. Well, 2, 3 years ago, being in a group wouldn't be a bad idea. You could join a Facebook prepper group. You could join this prepper group or that prepper group. Well, preppers are considered dissidents. So, as a dissident, you are now being monitored. So that means the whole conversation. Now, I was talking with my friend about some of this surveillance, because we were talking about how the Patriot Act was so bad for America. Well, the Patriot Act was just undoing everything that the Church Commission had tied up. So it stopped government agencies from operating within the United States, from lying to the American people. It prevented them from surveilling us. It prevented a lot of things, because what they had found out in the Church Commission is that even all of these different gangs. So we've got biker gangs, we've got like the Bloods and the Crips and the MS-13s and a lot of these different gangs. What they actually found out in the Church Commission was that there was an undercover agent that was at the head of every single one of these programs. And being at the head of these programs meant that they were all being controlled by the federal government. Now, how can we sit there and say we've got a war on drugs, that we've got too much crime, that we've got all these criminals going? Even somebody like David Duke is most likely a government plant. So you're sitting there thinking, "Oh yeah, that racist SOB." No, he is most likely, because of what the Patriot Act did by undoing all of that stuff, allowing Americans to be surveyed. That's how the FISA court was hijacked, and we at everything that we do now, we are actually having to have this conversation of what part of our data is being what part of our data is being harvested to be sold to the highest bidder? What part of our data is being harvested to sell to government agencies? Like, you may have a warrant out for you that you don't know about, or you may even be a suspect in a crime that you don't know about. And so, therefore, because they're tracking your bank transactions, they're tracking your whereabouts, and all these other things, they could compile a complete case on you without you even knowing it, and show up at your door, take you away in handcuffs, and now you're being convicted of a crime that you had no idea you were even participating in. This is the slippery slope that's going on. We're seeing this in New Orleans. With them, they were mandated by city council and by the voters to not survey and use artificial intelligence as a way to do intelligence gathering for um, for the city of New Orleans. And what ended up happening is that they put it out to a private organization and said, "Well, we're not doing it, so therefore we're going by our mandate." But now you've got a private organization that is sending supposed tips to to law enforcement of the whereabouts of people, the whereabouts of this and that, and all these other things. This is the beginnings of, if you've ever watched Minority Report and the pre-crime division, this is the beginning of that. Okay, with all of the surveillance that is happening, it is so easy to survey somebody because you've got apps, you've got phones, you've got the internet, you've got tracking devices, we're all over on social media. We share everything on social media, so on and so forth. So again, it boils down to, if you are going to join a prepper group, what do you do? Your prepper group should be, I mean, honestly, you're going to have to go back to the old school methods. Send a letter, correspond through written communication, something that it requires a human to do. And you've got actual written correspondence. This is something that cannot be harvested through data unless they open up your mail. And that's a whole nother thing going on there. But if you're communicating, especially in long distance, you might want to get good at letter writing again. Letter writing might be something that you want to do, but also you got to realize that that may also trigger a flag unless you're of a specific age. Like, if you're over 50, you sending a letter, or even if you're over 40, if you sending a letter is pretty common for your age group. But anybody under that age, they're like, "What's wrong with you?" That is a red flag. But if you're older, this is something that you can get away with. So maybe if you're a younger person, you got grandma sending off letters to your friends so that you guys can communicate. Now, this is a way for you to communicate and have secure communications, as long as, when you're sending this communication, you are okay with the fact that it may get intercepted at any point in time, just like over a network. But what is more likely, to get intercepted by a snail mail, or to get intercepted via the digital digital infrastructure that we're going through? So if you're thinking about things that you can do if you want to communicate with people and still maintain your privacy, because you do have the right to be private. That's one thing that we as human beings have forgotten about, as modern Americans. We no longer recognize the fact that we have the right to be free. We have the right to govern ourselves, that we have the right to be private in the things in which we do. If we wanted the rest of the world to know about it, we would do it. Unless we're committing a crime and you can prove it, leave me alone, and I want to remain in private. And this is hard. Even at my job, I had to go and have a conversation with them and say, "Hey, I know that you guys know my legal name, but I'm also a public face, and I got a channel going. I've got all this going. I would prefer to be, I would prefer to be, um, what is it? Um, I would prefer to be uh, referred to by my alias, i.e., Tuck or Professor Tuck or Friar Tuck. It doesn't matter, just Tuck. And so people refer to me, are starting to refer to me as Tuck. And I explained to them, it's like when you have any type of digital presence, it doesn't matter if you're just some guy that goes on and uses Facebook every day to communicate with friends and family. Um, if you have any type of digital footprint, if anybody, let's just say you pissed off your neighbor could go on your social media and and look at everything that you've done on your digital footprint to be able to be able to get enough ammunition to do whatever bullshit crap he wants to do. So think about it along in those lines. Whatever, if you don't and I was actually having a talk in the green room. If you guys are wanting to be able to have deeper conversations with me and like have a face or like an interaction with me outside of just me doing the live streams, come on over to Patreon. It's $5-10 a month depending upon which tier you want. It's $5 a month. um and that way, half hour before we get started, we open up the green room. A half hour after the live stream is over, we go into the after party. It's all on the same thing. So if you'd like to join something like that, I'd like to encourage you to do this. But we were having a conversation, more of a religious conversation. You guys know that I'm not a Christian, but I respect that some of you guys are Christians, and so I respect that. And so we were talking biblical, and one of the things in the Bible is that it says in the last days every man's sins will be on his doorstep. In the way that I interpret what that means, I think that this is that time. Why? Because the internet is your digital real estate, and every good and bad thing that you do, that you post online, now all of your sins are being advertised for the whole world to be seen. So be careful what it is that you put up there. Be careful, because the thing is, eventually your posts will dictate whether or not you can get a loan. Eventually your interactions online may also cause you to have harder issues with getting certain things. There's a lot of consequences for the things in which you put up in the digital area, in the digital infrastructure. I think that this is something that most people have failed to understand and failed to realize, is that you are leaving a digital footprint, and whatever you do online, everybody and their mother can see. Your sins are out there for all to see, good and bad. So this is something to be thoughtful of when you do things when you do things like this. So with that being said, if any of you guys have any questions on this subject or would like to make your own point, if you're in the green room, go ahead and say something in the chat. Otherwise, if you're here in the on the live stream, go ahead, say something in chat, and I will ask your question. Please, questions in all caps, please. Okay, there. That way, anybody new comes in, they can actually see this as well. Questions in all caps. So let me give you guys a little bit of an update. So I've been working for the last couple days, kind of enjoying the work. I like it. I like cooking though. So um, I've had kind of funny thing is I got another job offer today, but I'm like, I already got a job, can't take this one. Sorry, even though it was actually going to pay me more than what I'm getting paid right now. I wasn't going to jump from job to job like that, because one, it's not good for my reputation, for my integrity. I like to stick with things for as long as I can before I walk away from. It's just who I am, and who I've become. But starting tomorrow, I'm going to be going down and trying to get in with City Hall. What I could really use from you guys is some topic ideas. So this is a small little town. It's got a college in it. It's got a Walmart in it. It's got I think it's the county seat, and with it being like the county seat and having all these resources here, even for being a small town of right around 10,000 people, this place is one of those weird places, because it's like the college is essentially what the town is around. A college in a factory is what the town is around. And the factory is they haven't been hiring for like the last 4 weeks. When I went in like a week ago to do an interview with them. Hey, it's been a while. How's everyone doing? What's up, War Donkey? Nice to see you, buddy. It's just I've been going in. I've been hearing some things and rumblings around town. Just kind of how things are. So this is a small little town, but from what I understand, from what I'm being told by my host here, is that is that um, is that this town, a lot of people here have kind of like a prepper mentality. So I'm kind of curious to see what it's like to be in a small town, a medium. Well, for here, I would call it like a medium small town, but it still has the whole small town vibe. So I want to kind of get in here and see like if what she says about this place is correct, and if it is, I'd really like to be able to share their story with you guys. And I was wondering, like, what kind of things would you guys be interested in knowing? Because I'm gonna once I get done with City Hall, as long as I've got their blessing, and because there's some things that I need to get done, such as getting City Hall to give me their blessing, put out a bulletin that hey, there's going to be a content creator. He's doing this, to kind of showcase our city, so on and so forth. I have this whole talk that I'm going to end up having with them. I'm gonna have that communication with them, and as long as they give me that communication or that okay, which I don't think they'll have a problem with, especially considering I'm not asking them for any money. But this is what I'm hoping to do is that this will be a template for things to come where we can because I mean we focus on resilience in community, and we focus on just the whole resilience as a human being, whether it be prepping for the end of the world or prepping for the next the next hurricane, or whatever you're wherever you may be at on this spectrum. So if you're in something like that, and you would like to ask some questions because you find this topic interesting, let me know what kind of things you guys would be interested in. I'd be really happy to know. And guys, just because this is I'm still kind of rebalancing myself as far as the way the week goes and stuff like that. And we do this every day. It starts at 5:30 Eastern time, Monday through Friday. Tomorrow is Community Wednesday. We will have a way more structured broadcast tomorrow. So I'm at Daily Survival. Oh, okay. Well, Captain Apana, we can, um, let me know. Like, when you guys ask me questions, when you guys send me emails, if I think it's something that needs a video made out of it, I generally do, because if you ask me something that I think that a lot more people are interested in, I'm gonna make content around it. But for a while there, you guys stopped sending me questions. You guys used to send me questions all the time. I'm lucky if I get an email from a subscriber. You can reach me at friartuck@hobotuck.com. Mm. But that's what I'm working on as far as this goes. But anyways, guys, we're gonna go ahead. It's been a long day. Um, it's kind of fun. I will tell you my favorite part about this working this job is that you don't just like when you work in like in some type of fast food. You don't usually you get one station and then you get trained from station to station to station. But what they're doing with me here is I'm basically trained on almost everything now, like all the way from prep all the way out to the register and maintaining the store and things like that. And they've done that in like 2 days. But the thing is, like today, I worked two stations at once. Plus, I was working on a side project at the same time. I mean, I was only there for a few hours, but it makes my time go by so quick. I actually really, really enjoyed it. I'm having a lot of fun there, and I'm hoping that I get to meet members of the community there. That was part of the reason why I took the job, was that it would give me an opportunity to meet the because this is one of the most popular places in town. They have a really good reputation. Even the football team stopped by this place. So if these guys are, seems to be enjoyable and stuff, I'm hoping that it allows me to make connections within my community. So, with that being said, guys, I want to say thank you for being here. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Come on over to Patreon and become a member of my community over there. If you want closer behind the scenes content, be able to join us in the green room and have a talk with us before and after the broadcast. For those of you that are in the green room, hold on for just a moment. And then you guys can start unmuting. So for those of you that are here on the live broadcast, thank you for being here. Come visit me over at hobotuck.com, and I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.